3 days after my husband's funeral, my family forced me to attend my niece's first birthday party. In front of everyone, my sister announced that her daughter was actually my husband's child. She waved a will demanding half of my house. My mother stood there nodding, smiling, supporting her. Everyone waited for me to collapse in grief and shame. Instead, I picked up that will and I laughed. Because I'm a forensic document analyst for the FBI. And that signature was the sloppiest forgery I'd ever seen. You won't believe what happened next. Before we continue, please subscribe and hit that like button if you've ever had to use your professional skills to destroy someone who underestimated you. Trust me, this story gets better. My name is Dr. Morgan Price. I'm 38 years old. I work for the Federal Bureau of Investigation as a senior forensic document examiner. I analyze questioned documents. I detect forgeries. I testify in federal court. I've helped convict murderers, fraudsters, and identity thieves. My husband, Dr. James Price, died 6 days ago. Massive cerebral aneurysm. He was 40 years old. A neurosurgeon. Healthy. Active. Gone in an instant. We'd been married for 15 years. We built a life together in Charlotte, North Carolina. A beautiful home worth $1.2 million. No children. We'd tried for years. It never happened. James had a genetic condition, Huntington's disease gene. Progressive. Fatal. His father died from it at 55. James knew he carried the gene. We decided together that we wouldn't risk passing it on. So 5 years ago, James had a vasectomy. It was documented. Medical records at Duke University Hospital. Dr. Patricia Chen performed the procedure. Everything was filed, sealed, official. James died on a Tuesday. The funeral was Friday. 200 people came. Colleagues. Patients. Friends. My family barely showed up. My mother, Carol. My sister, Brittany. Brittany's husband, Kyle. They sat in the back row, left before the reception. 3 days later, on Monday, my phone rang. It was Carol. Morgan, you need to come to Emma's birthday party today. Emma. Brittany's daughter. Turning 1-year-old. Mom, I just buried James 3 days ago. Don't be selfish. Her voice was ice. Brittany has been planning this for months. The least you can do is show up. Support your family. I should have said no. I should have hung up. But grief does strange things to your brain. You become compliant. Numb. Too exhausted to fight. I'll be there. I drove to Brittany's house in a daze. She lived in a McMansion in the suburbs. Financed entirely by Kyle's tech job. Or so they claimed. The party was elaborate. Professional decorations. Live entertainment. Catered food. Probably cost $15,000. I walked through the gate. People stopped talking. Stared at me. The widow. Still in mourning. Brittany spotted me. She smiled. Not a warm smile. A predatory smile. Morgan, you came. Happy birthday, Emma. I tried to say it with feeling. But my voice was flat. Dead. Brittany cleared her throat. Loud enough that the music stopped. Everyone, can I have your attention? The crowd turned. Maybe 60 people. Friends. Neighbors. Family. I need to make an announcement. Something very important. My stomach tightened. This beautiful little girl, my daughter Emma, is very special. And I think it's time everyone knew the truth. What are you doing? I whispered. Brittany looked right at me. Her eyes were cold. Calculating. The truth is, James Price was Emma's biological father. The words hit me like a physical blow. What? That's right, Morgan. James and I had an affair. It lasted 2 years. Emma is his daughter. The crowd gasped. My mother stepped forward. She didn't look surprised. She looked supportive. It's true. James confessed before he died. He told us everything. No. This wasn't possible. Then Kyle stepped forward. He was holding a thick document. Official looking. Bound. This is James's last will and testament. Signed 3 months ago. Witnessed and notarized. He handed it to me. In it, James leaves half of all his assets to his daughter, Emma. Including half of your house, Morgan. I looked at the document. My hands were shaking. You have 30 days to vacate the property or buy us out. $600,000. Cash. The crowd was silent. Watching. Waiting for me to break. Then I did something unexpected. I laughed. It started quiet. Then grew louder. Until everyone was staring at me like I'd lost my mind. What's so funny? Brittany demanded. I wiped my eyes. Took a breath. You really thought this through, didn't you? The affair story. The dramatic announcement. The will. Morgan, my mother warned. But you made one critical mistake. What? Kyle snapped. I held up the document. Turned it slowly in my hands. Examined it like I was in my FBI lab. This signature. I let the words hang. What about it? Kyle's voice was defensive. I looked up at the crowd, made eye contact with several people, then looked back at the document. For those of you who don't know, I'm a forensic document examiner. I work for the FBI. I've analyzed thousands of questioned documents. Wills, contracts, confessions, ransom notes. I spend 40 hours a week detecting forgeries. I testify in federal court. I've helped convict over 100 criminals. My voice was calm, professional, the voice I used when testifying. And this signature is fake. The crowd gasped. Brittany's face went red. You're lying. You're just saying that because you're jealous. Am I? I held the document up so everyone could see. Let me educate you all on how real signatures work. When a person signs their name with a ballpoint pen, the pen creates physical pressure. It leaves a groove in the paper. An indentation you can feel. The ink density changes. It's darker on downstrokes. Lighter on upstrokes. It's three-dimensional. It's alive. I ran my thumb over the signature. This has no pressure. No groove. The ink density is perfectly uniform from start to finish. I looked at Kyle. That's because this isn't ink from a pen. This is ink from a printer. What are you talking about? Kyle stammered. I almost felt sorry for him. He was so far out of his depth. This is a digital forgery. You scanned James's real signature from another document. Probably our mortgage papers, or a medical form. You copied that image file, pasted it into Microsoft Word, typed up this fake will around it, and printed it. I held the paper close to Brittany's face. Want proof? Look at the M in Morgan. Right here. I pointed with my finger. See that tiny white gap in the ink line? That's called pixelation dropout. It happens when a printer fails to perfectly replicate a high-resolution image file. I let the document fall to the grass. This isn't a will. It's just a piece of paper. And it's completely worthless. My mother lunged forward. Her face was twisted with rage. How dare you? You're standing here at your sister's party calling her a liar. You've always been jealous of her. Have I, Mom? I turned to face her. Or have you always preferred her because she needed you? Because she was helpless? Because I was too independent? Too successful? Too smart? Carol's mouth opened and closed. Let me tell you what really happened here. I looked around at the crowd. Brittany and Kyle are broke. Kyle lost his job 8 months ago. They're drowning in debt. Credit cards maxed out. Mortgage payments behind. This party? Probably the last of their savings. Brittany's face went pale. They saw James die. They saw me inherit everything. The house. The retirement accounts. The life insurance? $1.8 million total. And they hatched a plan. Create a fake affair. Forge a will. Claim Emma is James's daughter. Force me to split everything. My voice dropped. Cold. Final. But they forgot one thing. What? Brittany whispered. James had a vasectomy. 5 years ago. At Duke University Hospital. Dr. Patricia Chen performed it. It's documented. Filed. Oficial. Which means Emma cannot be James's biological daughter. Which means this entire story is a lie. But we have a DNA test, Kyle shouted. He pulled another document from his briefcase. Charlotte Genetic Lab. Official letterhead. DNA paternity test results. 99.9% match. James Price is the father. I took the document, examined it. This is impressive. Much better quality than the will. You actually paid someone to create this. What? No, that's real. I pulled out my phone. Called the Charlotte Genetic Lab. Right there. On speaker. Charlotte Genetic Lab, how may I help you? Yes, I need to verify a test result. Test number CGL-47921. Pause. Typing. I'm sorry, ma'am. We have no record of that test number. I hung up. Looked at Kyle. Fraudulent document number 2. He tried to grab the phone. I stepped back. Here's what's going to happen. I'm keeping both of these documents. I'm going to have them analyzed at the FBI lab. I'm going to identify the printer used, the paper source, the software, and I'm going to trace it back to you. Then I'm going to file charges. Fraud. Forgery. Attempted theft. Conspiracy. Brittany started crying. Fake tears. The kind she'd used since childhood. Morgan, please. I'm sorry. We were disparity. We didn't know what else to do. You could have asked me for help. What? If you'd come to me and said you needed money, I would have helped you. You're my sister. Emma is my niece. I would have given you $20,000. $50,000. Whatever you needed. But instead, you tried to destroy me. 6 days after my husband died. I looked at my mother. And you helped them. You stood there and supported their lie. Carol couldn't meet my eyes. I'm done. With all of you. I turned and walked away. Behind me, Brittany was screaming. Kyle was arguing. Carol was crying. The guests were whispering. I didn't look back. I drove straight to the FBI field office. My boss, Special Agent David Martinez, was there. Morgan, what are you doing here? You're on bereavement leave. I need to file a report. Personal matter. I showed him the documents. Explained everything. He looked grim. This is federal fraud. We'll open a case. 2 weeks later, FBI agents arrested Kyle and Brittany. The charges were serious. Wire fraud, identity theft, conspiracy to commit theft, forgery of legal documents. My mother wasn't charged. She claimed she didn't know it was fake, that Brittany had lied to her too. Maybe it was true. Maybe it wasn't. I didn't care anymore. The investigation revealed more than I expected. James's death wasn't an aneurysm. It was poison. Thallium, a heavy metal. Slow acting. Undetectable unless you're specifically looking for it. Someone had been dosing him for weeks. Putting it in his coffee. His food. The toxicology report was clear. Lethal levels. The FBI dug deeper. Security footage from our home showed Kyle visiting regularly. Always when I was at work. Always bringing coffee for James. Kyle confessed. Not to murder. He claimed it was an accident. That he was trying to make James sick enough to go to the hospital. That he wanted to intercept him there. Get him to sign papers. The jury didn't believe him. Murder in the first degree. Life without parole. Brittany got 25 years as an accomplice. She knew about the poison. She helped plan everything. Emma went into foster care. Her real father, a man named Travis Hayes, who looked similar to James, came forward. He and Brittany had been having an affair. He wanted custody. The court granted it. Emma is 5 now. I've never met her. I sold the house. Too many memories. Too much pain. I used the money to establish the Dr. James Price Foundation for Huntington's disease research. Every penny goes to finding a cure. I still work for the FBI. I'm now the assistant director of the Question Documents Unit. I train other examiners. I testify in major cases. I've written a textbook on forgery detection. People ask if I've forgiven my family. Carol. Brittany. The answer is no. You don't forgive people who murder your husband for money. You move forward. You build something meaningful from the ashes. But you don't forgive. Carol tried to reach out last year. A letter. Asking for reconciliation. Saying she was sorry. That she didn't know about the poison. That she'd lost both daughters now. I didn't respond. Because here's what I learned. Trust is earned through consistent action. Not through blood. Not through shared history. Not through apologies. My family showed me who they were. Repeatedly. Consistently. For decades. I was just too loyal to see it. James's death was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But it also freed me. Freed me from the obligation to maintain relationships that only took from me. Freed me from the guilt of setting boundaries. Freed me from the fantasy that my family would ever truly love me. I'm 43 now. I live alone in a condo overlooking the city. I have friends, colleagues, a life built on my own terms. And every day, I wake up knowing that I used my skills, my training, my profession, to stop people who tried to destroy me. That's power. Real power. Not the power to hurt. But the power to protect yourself. To stand your ground. To say no. To walk away. Some people called me cold for not forgiving. For cutting off my mother. For never trying to see Emma. But I'm not cold. I'm clear. There's a difference. Have you ever had to use your professional expertise to defend yourself? Have you ever discovered that your family was capable of unthinkable betrayal? Share your story in the comments. And if this resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Because sometimes the most powerful weapon you have is your own competence. Thank you for listening.